We now have another trend in play called the Tinder divorce. A new study suggests couples who meet online may be destined for divorce. So, Killa Kib, I love to go and reference and like to read her stories on here. She brings up the fact about how Tinder weddings started raising the eyebrows of online dating skeptics, and the growing number of people who met their partners on dating apps began marrying each other. A decade or so, dating apps went mainstream, and Tinder weddings now have gone to the trend, the Tinder divorce. Well, we know there's always going to be quite a bit of turnaround for those that actually even consider to go ahead and get married. Look, Tinder's not the place to go ahead and look for those kind of serious relationships. I don't think so. And maybe I'm wrong. But obviously there's going to be people that are going to say, no, come on, KLP. We absolutely have gotten married. We were happily married. And we're really happy. And, my husband is so loyal and faithful and he gives me everything I want. But then ask the guy, how much is he getting out of it? After the initial contact, are things still that good, months or even a year later after the initial contact? Just saying. So recent studies suggest that married couples who met online are more likely to divorce than their old school counterparts. This was conducted by the Marriage Foundation and assembled by the UK-based polling company Savant studying more than 2,000 adults ages 30 and up, that 12% of couples who met their spouse online got divorced within 3 years of marriage, compared to 2% of partners who met through friends. Yeah, well, but everybody's getting the divorce more. I don't know what the whole divorce rate now is these days, but it's got to be more than 50%. And there was a time when, not too long ago, I remember hearing people where women talked about, oh, this is my first marriage, which intends to say that we're going to have a second marriage. So she'll find somebody else and she will wife up, or she'll upgrade her husband to somebody else that might be better to have kids with, that'll be better supported, and she'll have more security to be with. And maybe she'll be more willing to be a little more contributory to the marriage, to do something more for the marriage, to keep it right. And sticking it out 3 years of marriage doesn't necessarily improve the odds of making it till death do you part. After 7 years, according to the study, the chance for divorce for couples shoots up 17%, as opposed to 10% for couples who met through friends. And couples who let their friends set them up clearly have a leg up over those who met online. Couples who met through other means don't seem to have as pronounced an advantage as lowly internet lovers. Now, there's also suggestion that couples who meet through friends may fare better thanks to stronger social networks surrounding and supporting the relationship, while people who meet online are marrying as relative strangers and might lack sufficient social capital or close social support networks around them to deal with all the challenges they face. Funny that Kelly actually writes here, I'm personally a big fan of divorce and like to think of it as something not feared but celebrated. Whether you meet online through your annoying friends who are desperate to set you up with other single people, they know or are sure you guys would be great together, or wed a literal tech billionaire, there's not a significant chance that a messy divorce awaits us all. Should it deter us from tying the knot in the first place? Absolutely not. Quite the opposite. I say go ahead and marry that internet stranger. Remember, marriage, whether or not it begins online, always comes with an undo button. That's a bad way to look at it. If you're going to get married from the onset and you're not in it for forever, then don't get married. Why would you go? Why is this so acceptable now that you go into the marriage and you can get married that day? You could be in the dress, something new, something borrowed, something blue. The whole reception happens. And that reception and the whole wedding, that whole day for you is over. And that young, pretty little bride can say to herself, you know what? A couple of years, I want to do this again with somebody else. Maybe some are just fetishized by the fact they want to get married. They want to be in the wedding dress again. And they don't want it to just be this one day, partially because they want to have the fun of everybody looking around them and saying, look how beautiful you are. You're going to be a beautiful bride. Second, it's also part about a woman wanting to feel young and beautiful and continue to have validation that she can still wait for the day she can get back in the wedding dress and then find even a better suitor for her. Something like that. I can imagine a lot of things like that. That's a pretty bad way to think about things. Another story I want to bring up in the same vein here is about a story about a woman who decided to do something on the Hinge app, meeting guys and finding a way to filter out men. This is pretty shitty here, but here's what we got. So a woman who had become frustrated with dating apps decided to try to save herself some time asking potential dates for the most controversial opinions as the opening question. So here's what we got. 23-year-old Amanda Neal. She is a speech and language pathology student from Fort Worth, Texas. She decided to go ahead and try this experiment with prospective partners on the Hinge dating app. And she shared her results on TikTok. And it's been viewed, as of this writing, 9 million times. So it was to go ahead and learn about the political stance of somebody in some cases. It really was that. So as well as the obvious bigoted and racist responses, she also got some more left field controversial opinions, including one guy that believes that, quote, bullying is good for the country, end quote, and others were anti-vaxxers. So she would ask the question, what's your most controversial opinion? One guy would say intelligence is genetic. She asks from both parents or one, and he answers race-based, I mean. And then there's one question, what's your least favorite thing about women? Oh, dear. It goes without saying that those answers were also problematic. One said long fake nails. Another one said insecurity. Another one said, don't get me started. Fair enough. Let's not. Another person answers her question. I hope this doesn't make you hate me. Well, this is not a good start. But men and women are never going to be equal. It's simply biology. Socially, yes, we can be equal, but physically, no. You don't answer this question. A gotcha question like this, I would never answer. Or I would throw it back and say, you first. I would never answer that question. There's no way. And actually, I would try to change it around and say, well, I don't think I'm really controversial. Because I'm not. I'm talkative, but I'm not very controversial. Like, I don't try to do things where I talk about certain subjects and it's really going to be trying to push people's buttons. I don't think I do that. I really don't. But that's what the whole thought is. Okay, another controversial opinion. I don't care at all about the vaccine. She asks, don't care or don't care to get it? If you ever come across this lady, don't answer her questions. Don't worry about controversial opinions. What's the controversy is going to be is if you date her in the first place, okay? Anyway, I'll leave it there and I'll talk to you next time.